good everyone, Pat Whelen here, welcome back to a new video on my channel. So I'm making this video to shed some light on some really cool places that can inspire you to take new photos in Melbourne, and a lot of these are going to be really close to the city. I should also mention that I've actually created a map that has all these locations listed. I actually made this map about a year ago now, and I realized that I haven't really talked about it much on my YouTube. The link is in the description. Fully interactive Google map with locations pinned. There's over 200 locations on the map, so feel free to explore the map. But with that being said, I will talk about a few of those locations in depth in this video. Some of these locations are also accessible by public transport, and I'll be leaving those details up on screen when I talk about each location. First location is one of my favorites, and that is the Macedon Plantation. This place is also used as a logging area, but the trees that are up are really tall and really good for some moody photography. I recommend going in winter or late spring, where you're going to get the nice moody conditions and where there's less people. It's easy to get to as well by public transport. I've been there once. I was going to go again in 2020, but unfortunately with the coronavirus, I haven't been able to get out there yet. The second location is Trentham Falls. This place is beautiful and it's a great waterfall location. I believe it is the biggest single drop waterfall in Victoria at 32 meters, and there are so many different opportunities for photos at this location. You can go under the waterfall, you can fly a drone above it, or you can stand in front of it. You also get photos like long exposure photos, aerial photos. Similar to Macedon, I've only been there once and I did plan on going back there. The next location is one that is a lot closer to the city, and that is Red Bluff. I've been to Red Bluff quite a few times, and it's by far one of the best clifftop locations in Melbourne. This spot can get a little bit more crowded, particularly in summer or at sunset. Usually there'll be a few people sitting on the cliffside watching the sunset over the beach, but with that being said, it can still be a good photography location if you get in early. You get a beautiful view of Half Moon Bay to the west, and then you get the sun and the city to the east if you go at sunset. Very easy to access by public transport, and there's a lot of nearby beaches that you can also shoot at as well. Location number 4 is pretty much the entirety of the Dandenong Ranges. The three main spots that I shoot at in these Dandenong Ranges is the Alfred Nicholas Gardens, Sherbrooke Forest, and the Puffing Billy area. You can also go to places like Burke's Lookout for a nice view of Melbourne, but I know that there's quite a few waterfalls like 𝘿𝙤𝙤 Falls and Sherbrooke Falls, and overall just a lot of great opportunities for some moody forest photography. I've been there quite a few times and I've been to a lot of locations in that forest, but because it is so large, there's still a lot to explore there. I recommend that it's worth taking a day to just walk through some of the trails along some of the creeks or through the forests, and I'm sure you'll find some cool photography locations. The next spot is Maroondah Reservoir Park. This spot can sort of serve as a double whammy if you can get in there at the right time when Rebels Falls is running. Essentially, Maroondah Reservoir is just a very large reservoir with a really cool wall and Yarra Ranges backdrop. And then there's a waterfall that runs off the spillway, but it only runs at some certain times of the year, usually after heavy rainfall or in early spring. I've been there once and I have planned to go back there, and I've dropped an edit from there as well. It's a little bit trickier to get to by public transport, but I highly recommend just catching the bus into Healesville and taking the walking track via Donnelly's Weir into the park. The last location I'm going to talk about in this video is just the entirety of Melbourne CBD. There are so many locations I can talk about inside the Melbourne CBD, and whilst I don't usually post many photos from the city because it's sort of not the type of photos I like, if you're getting into photography, the city is the perfect place to pretty much try out any technique. You can pretty much get a good photo of a tram almost anywhere in the city. There's a bunch of neon signs and cool architecture down some of the laneways. A lot of the city locations are listed on the map I talked about before. However, I'm thinking of making a part 2 to this video where I talk about only locations in the city. If that's something you guys want, leave a comment below and I'll definitely think about making that video. But like I said guys, if you are interested in finding out more about some of these locations, head to the link in the description below and check out the locations map. It's also worth noting that all the locations I talked about today were sort of in Melbourne. The entirety of Victoria has also got some really amazing spots like the Grampians and the Great Ocean Road, but I tried to keep these as accessible to as many people as possible. Anyways guys, that's all I have to say for this week's video. If you did enjoy, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. I'm doing weekly videos in 2020. I'll see you guys in next week's video, and until then, peace out.